It's the Weekly Wrap with your host, broadcasting legend Bruce Wolf, and his trusty sidekick, comedian Tim Slagle. And now, without further ado, Bruce Wolf.
Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. And now it's time for my favorite part of the show, wherein we guess what's in Tim's background. Tim, I think this is a slam dunk, of course. I think you got the late Ayatollah, not his son, who apparently is impotent and couldn't get a wife. I mean, way too much information about these Iranians. But anyway, I mean, that's the biggest thing is the embarrassment. Okay, all right. So the Ayatollah, you know, he's met his maker, and of course, he gets up there and he sees, and this is all in Tim's background that I'm guessing right now, sees the 72 virgins are all in pink pussy hats. This says, never mind. I'll wait for Susan Sarandon to die, and I know she's not a virgin. I mean, is that what's in your background?
No. Boy, that would have been a hard one to compose. No,
sure.
No, it's just a simple pun this week.
Okay, let's see that right now. Yeah, the Beach Boys' Endless Summer, bomb, 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 Iran. There you go. Yeah, that was a good one. That was
I think everybody started humming that to themselves when the news came
if you're really
through.
a Chicago radio aficionado, you hum Steve Dahl's, my mentor Steve Dahl's Ayatollah to My Sharona, okay, which he did in 1979. Yeah. Oh yeah, you do that one. I don't know, haven't listened to Steve in a while. He might be on Iran's side now. I don't know. It'd be a good discussion, but whatever. Well, I mean, you see people like Gavin Newsom, who I think he goes back and forth. I think sometimes he parts that beautiful hair on the left side, sometimes on the right side. But yeah, he had a tweet last week, which was pretty good for a 961 SAT guy. He said, Donald Trump has lied to the American people. His reckless, illegal war has no description of an end game, no explanation of an existential threat. And I got to think, existential is kind of a big word for a 961 SAT guy. I don't know that he made that up. And I don't even know how a dyslexic guy actually reads that. But then he came out just yesterday or whatever, in which he labeled Israel apartheid. Okay, so we know where he's going. Although I have heard, thanks, of course, always to the commentary podcast, Eliana Johnson, saying he's putting himself in a difficult position here because he's going to be outflanked on the left on the debate stage by the true believers, the true anti-Semites, AOC, and self-loathing Jew Bernie Sanders. And they're gonna impeach him, so to speak, with prior inconsistent testimony where he was, visiting Israel, October 20th, 2023, and he seemed to be on the other side. So they're going to get him. He's not a purist. That's a problem with him.
As existential, though, that's like one of those words that people use a lot that they don't really know what it means.
No,
like literally. People
well, actually, that literally, I heard this on a podcast. It was actually Jonah Goldberg it was one of these timeless podcasts where he's talking to a guy who worked on the dictionary. Okay. And the guy was saying that it used to, literally always used to be misused, was always misused when people actually meant figuratively, but it's been misused into common parlance. So people it's now okay to say literally, even when you don't even mean it anymore, and there's no distinction between the two words. And me as a purist, I can't stand it. And the reason I can't stand it, I'm not a purist so much as I had to learn this stuff. Okay, now you're telling me it doesn't matter.
Well, I think though, Bruce, that originally the word did mean figuratively. It only became actually a synonym for actually in our time, is because literally, I mean, if you think about it, it means as in literature. So it means that I do believe that the original definition of literally was figuratively.
Well, what was figuratively then? Figuratively?
A synonym for literally.
Literally.
I mean,
Then
now
what
it's
word
a
would people?
synonym for actually.
All right,
But I'm with you. I still like
no. I mean,
when people say literally.
I'll tell you.
I love
I'm
to.
after you just, the scales just dropped from my eyes right now. I'm ready to believe just about anything you say, including but not limited to that Trump had that election stolen from him. Yeah, in 20. All right, let's go back to something. Oh, speaking of Trump actually seems to have been exonerated by Bill Clinton in all this testimony over the Epstein files. Okay, did you watch any of that testimony? See any of the clips?
Yeah, I don't know if they got like a little bro club going that
Sure.
I won't rat you out if you don't rat me out, okay?
Yeah,
I don't know if it's that but I mean, I'm still of the mind that if Trump did anything, we would have known about it.
Sure.
That
I mean, the
that
Biden
portion of the
administration
files would have been leaked
of course,
long ago.
So now here's the issue, the cause celeb in the past few days was whether J.B. Pritzker was part of this. And let me say that as soon as this came out, I was the first of probably 4 million who made a joke, but I don't know that anybody made this particular joke, was that there's no way that he was on that plane unless, of course, he sat on one side of the aisle and Epstein, Noam Chomsky, and Bill Clinton sat on the other side of the aisle. Now, other people have made a variation on that joke, but I think that was, that was, but then Clinton went back on that later. Now people are still trying to make this into something. I mean, Pritzker denied it, that he was ever on any plane. Clinton then, I think, later said, "Oh, I forgot." And of course, Clinton's testimony is always unimpeachable. And by unimpeachable, I mean literally, not figuratively. So yeah. So what do you think J.B. Pritzker got any on Epstein? By the way, if Pritzker had actually been on Epstein's island, I think it would have been time for that great Congressman Hank Johnson to say that the island might have tipped over. So
I don't know. I don't know if he would have ever been invited to Orgy Island. I mean, it's that's something that a lot of people would not like to see.
Yeah, but plus, I think that Clinton said that Pritzker had his wife there, and on the plane. So I mean, what could possibly happen?
Well, there were a lot of innocent flights. I mean, Trump and his family flew with Epstein once, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but when Trump flies on it, that he was up to no good. I mean, that goes without saying. It's just like because Trump is in favor of has started this Iranian war, that it is ipso facto no good. I mean, just for that reason alone.
Sure.
Whether it has, I totally get that. It's a big partisan thing. So, but as far as now, Pritzker did go. No, Clinton did go fly 27 times. Are you telling me in those 27 times? Well, and we've seen pictures. He saw Clinton in the testimony eyeing this picture, and he couldn't get. He was smiling, and he couldn't get his face off it.
That was
with his wife sitting next to him.
That was a good time.
I don't know if she was there at the time.
That was really a good time.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it. And then he even got trapped in a question where he said he didn't like women young, and then whoever was questioning him said, "Are interns young?" He said, "Yes, they are." Okay, that's it. Guilty. Depends on what the meaning of intern is, I guess.
I don't think I saw that the picture that Chris just put up. I don't think I saw that one with a naked Ghislaine Maxwell. I've seen the picture of Bill and the girl with the black. Does she?
Yeah.
Okay. It looked like she was naked.
It's good that Chris is quite aware of our catalog of pictures and knows who's clothed, who isn't. How much disrobing can we show of Sydney Sweeney? How much? But by the way, we'll get to this in the next segment. But I loved
looks like they all have bathing suits on.
Yeah, they do.
So.
I loved all the coverage of the Iranian bombing, especially on Saturday. Was watching all day. But TV is eclipsed by Twitter. You get the news, Twitter much faster. Now, if you had Sydney Sweeney anchoring the coverage, then I could see, actually watching TV. Sydney Sweeney interviewing General David Petraeus, who did not betray us, if you recall, when he had his little.
I don't know if she would ever be cast as an anchor or a correspondent. She's pretty much she's a weather girl, if anything.
I mean, I love the way you typecast her. Really, you could certainly put the AI, dub it over whatever she has to say, and I think you're limiting her horizons.
But
all right,
but that
congratulations
stare, but
her
famous stare. I think
during that interview
would go very well,
right?
And on any news station. So
I think if Sydney Sweeney gave the nod, I think that a lot of Megyn Kelly's listeners would switch over in support of the war. I think there would be a plurality. Well, we'll discuss these and other big topics when we come back. Bruce Wolf and Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Hey, before I forget, I mean, war, yeah, good God, y'all, what is it good for? Quite a bit. But I got to tell you, we may have an opportunity here. And I'm not talking about just your and Chris's heating and air conditioning podcast. Are you familiar with the Cumulus Broadcasting Corporation? Cumulus?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work for them. Okay.
I know. Kipper McGee referred to it as cumulus. Which is kind of
I know
an
who
inside joke.
I know who Kipper McGee is. He was a station manager or program director. What happened was, and this our good friend Scott Bertram, who has substituted for you on this show, tweeted out, showed that Cumulus is filing for bankruptcy again. Okay. And I just thought that this might present the opportunity. And look, I would never abandon WJOB in Hammond. Okay. Because first of all, I think we're going to be the flagship station for the Bears. And I'm going to get to do play-by-play finally. Even though I still think that Johnny Morris plays for the team. But I think so we're gonna stick with WJOB. But I got on offer. Here's my offer. I'll do the morning show, and you want to do the show too on WLS AM 890, which is where I came from. That was my last regular gig in radio. I'll do it for $1.380 from my home by Zoom, and I'll just make phony phone calls to Dan Proft at WIND all morning saying it's Tucker, and I appreciate that he doesn't rip me on Twitter where it actually counts. So that's my offer to Cumulus, but they're going bankrupt again. And can I tell you the bankruptcy story the first time they went bankrupt? Okay.
Sure.
So I get fired by Cumulus. And this is at the beginning of December 2014. My last days there are the beginning of the new year, January 2015. And the guys who fired me were the Dickey brothers. I'm trying to remember Lou Dickey and John Dickey, and actually liked them to the extent that I met them. But they get fired. They're the ones who are responsible for my dismissal. I mean, like within 3 months, forget about, program directors getting fired. They're fungible. They come and go. They're the owners of the station, and they were the ones who did it. They were the owners of all these stations. Within like 3 months, I kid you not, they were kicked out of the company. They lost
Wow.
their own company. Now, I got to tell you, that's the definition of Schadenfreude, okay? And Schadenfreude, it doesn't get any better than that. The only problem with Schadenfreude is it does not pay the bills. That's all. I mean, yeah. Oh, but you got, you may never work at a full-time job in radio or TV again, but man, you got that Schadenfreude. That'll carry you. So, but yeah, so that's what happened to them. So timing is, is very important in this business. And as a matter of fact, at that point, I think that if we had known about the Trump phenomenon, this is before Trump, takes the escalator up or down and announces that he's going to run for president. I mean, that would have upset everything, and that would have been. But what if Cleopatra's nose had been crooked? We could ask, these questions. I'm glad where I'm at right now with the Beach Boys' Endless Summer and your background, Tim. And let's talk about the Iranian war. You mind if I tell you how I heard about it?
Sure.
I actually saw a text from a cousin. All right. And, it was about a bomb shelter because they live in Tel Aviv, and they had to go to a bomb shelter. And,
oh, wow.
And
so you got firsthand knowledge.
The first text was just, it was like 6:30 in the morning. It's what I woke up to because, I'm about to do Wordle, right? And it delayed Wordle by at least 2 to 3 hours for me. I mean, that's how big a deal this was. And then the next picture I see is of my cousins dancing on the beach because they're in between going to the bomb shelter.
In between shelters.
In between shelters. Boy, Give Me Shelter would have been, it's the greatest rock song of all time, according to the late Lynn Brimmer. Anyway, but then I get this one cousin, the male cousin, he FaceTimes me and he wants to be my reporter. He's standing out there on the beach. And I'm a little nervous because he wants to do shtick with me. And I'm going to be like the anchor guy sending it out to him on the beach in Tel Aviv. And I go, okay, I'll play with this a little bit. And I said, so those streaks of gray against the blue sky right now, I can't tell. Are those clouds or is that a missile that just exploded over you? And then I told him to run into the shelter because it was ridiculous. I mean, I know, that I was a shock jock or shock jock adjacent, but that was really something. Anyway, so what's your whole take?
Boy, that's kind of like ballsier than the Weather Channel guys.
Oh yeah,
actually standing out there in the middle of a missile attack. Yeah. Hurricane.
Now, granted, I mean, the guy was saying, I'm not really in central Tel Aviv. I'm near the beach. Oh, look, a few hours late. I don't care. Somebody actually died. A woman died a few hours later from, I think they said it was shrapnel from an exploding missile. But, you and I mean, how close do we live to bombs bursting in air? Not very, I don't think.
Well, we don't know. We don't know if the ICBM survived.
Right.
That's, I mean, they did have one that could hit Siberia. So just
okay.
Just,
so
did you see the lasers?
I'm sorry.
I just say, are we all near a sleeper cell at any point?
Well, I got to tell you something. I mean, just this scares me a little bit. I mean, Tucker came out against this Jewish, I wouldn't call it a sect. It's a group. It's called Chabad. He came out against it. And, when Tucker does stuff like that, you don't know what kind of nutcase, you can have another Austin, Texas. That's what happened last weekend. I actually go to like a 15-minute Zoom meeting each morning with these Chabad rabbi. I mean, and I confess, I don't even pay that much attention to the prayer meeting because you know how distracted I am. I'm with one ear, I'm listening to you guys podcasting about heating and air conditioning, and with the other ear I'm praying. That's about all you're going to get from me. But I swear I heard the rabbi say yesterday that Moses did not see God directly, and that should be interpreted that we should drink the blood of Christians. So that's all I'm saying. So, no, so Tim, what do you make of this whole thing?
Well, I was starting to say that Israel revealed that they actually have lasers now that can take
there
out
we go. Yes,
that can take out the missiles, and I think that is so cool.
No.
I mean, that is literally Star Wars.
It's literally and figuratively. That's how good it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Does it do that by changing the weather?
Well, yeah, that's what they do outside of wartime. That's what they do with them. Yeah, we know that.
Now, the critique of Trump when he makes this announcement with a baseball cap, and this was a Charles Fishman had this this tweet, which was reposted by Eric Zorn. I like to out people who repost things on Twitter because you can't. I want to say, and it was my good buddy Eric Zorn reposting this. The guy was criticizing Trump for wearing a baseball cap where he's announcing that we're going to war. I was thinking, I agreed because I thought Trump should have been wearing a Michael Dukakis pith helmet. That would have been so much more authentic. But Trump is actually being criticized because it doesn't seem like our goals are consistent. One day we're talking about regime change. One day next minute we're talking about just getting rid of the nuclear weapons. I mean, it seems like we're kind of all over the place. I don't really care that much, about, it's just keep bombing. Let's see where it goes. But
you know why he wears that baseball cap, don't you?
Because his hair is messy.
Yeah, it's because the way it's combed over.
Mm-hmm.
There was one photo of him. He was like speaking outside in the wind, and it stood up. You can still find the picture. It stood up like a shark fin.
There you go.
That comb over, and it looked so ridiculous. The next time you saw him outside, he had the red hat on.
Yeah, I believe all this stuff. Actually, they had something that was really instructive on Gutfeld last night, other than somewhat lame jokes that they tell. Although I kind of wish I could get on that show. The fact that Hillary, when she was testifying, had all these conditions about the makeup. Oh yeah, there's Trump. Yeah, that's blowing in the wind.
That was the last picture of him out in the wind without a hat on.
Yeah. That's a comb over. That's right. So, but Hillary had all this stuff about the kind of background that she would have, the how they were lighting her, and for the testimony, and so we're all kind of vain that way. I understand that. But
I think she did it. I think she kind of did it for the same reason that was it Van Halen that did the brown M&Ms thing.
Well, I was going to say that I was expecting the platter to have antipasto and
sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah. Did Van Halen do that?
I think it was I think it was Van Halen that did the brown M&Ms, and they said later they weren't really that picky. They just wanted to see that the concert venue read the whole contract.
Isn't that wonderful?
And usually what would happen is they would get a call and say, "Do you really need us to pick out all the brown M&Ms?" And they said, "No, but thanks for reading the whole contract." But I think it was kind of the same thing with Hillary. She had all these stipulations.
Yeah.
And it allowed her to do what she did and storm off.
Sure. She always had an excuse.
Yeah.
My argument would be
when they took that picture and put it online, she said, "Okay, that's a violation. I'm out."
Right. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm no attorney. Well, actually I am, but I think the brown M&Ms is, if they didn't have him, would not be a material breach of the contract. But we'll get to more of that, and we'll talk about Tim and Chris. They are salivating over being on WLS. I know, to talk heating and air conditioning. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the weekly wrap. And so Donald Trump has decided he's going to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it kind of surprised me a little bit. But then I realized Don Imus is dead. Okay. I don't know if you remember that one with Clinton. I couldn't look when right in front of Hillary. I mean, it was, I mean, it's worse than Hillary being quizzed about. Was she even asked about Bill in what he did on Epstein's plane, whatever. But
she said she doesn't. You're asking the wrong person.
Right.
You think I keep track of my husband?
Exactly. So then I heard that they're not even going to have a comedian. They're unless they're making this up. I never know what to believe. That they were going to have a mentalist at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, or is that a joke?
I think it might have been a joke. I heard it could be wrong. I heard it was going to be Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely.
What?
Yeah, of course you're going to have Dave Chappelle.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just think there's a little bit of incongruity there. Donald Trump and Dave Chappelle. WHCD announces mentalist Oz Perlman as entertainer for the annual dinner. It's not a joke.
Oh, okay.
Oz Perlman.
Oh.
I thought Hughes was Perlman, but here's have you ever seen a mentalist?
I think so.
Do you remember The Amazing Kreskin?
Yeah.
I actually part of my prom weekend many years ago, went to Mr. Kelly's and saw a Kreskin. Okay.
Wow.
And
that was many years ago.
Kreskin, I think Karnak is the magnificent.
I had a Kreskin game set by Milton Bradley. And I actually bought into it. I actually thought it was real. I actually thought.
And then you found out that the magic saying that you were supposed to decipher, all it said was drink Ovaltine, right? Which is, yeah.
No, it was basically a set of cards with like a square, diamond, and different colors. And the other person was supposed to look at it and try to transmit telepathically to you what the card was and to see how good you could get from just the.
I just don't see all these White House correspondents sitting around there and watching a mentalist.
I don't know. I mean, hypnotist would be a lot more fun.
That would be good. That would be good. I'd like to see a fire lit under Peter Ducey's palm and see him as he's being torched admit that he's obsequious to Donald Trump. Although I enjoy Peter Ducey. I should have picked another correspondent, Jim Acosta, if he were still there, but he's not. And he was not obsequious. Would you like to talk about I hate to get serious about this. Well, before we get serious, you never know how things are going to turn, but that humongous Netflix, Warner Brothers, Paramount deal may have actually pivoted. And I could believe this, that a delegation of legislators paid a visit to the headquarters of Netflix, I guess. And one was both shocked and disturbed to find a basket containing tampons in the men's restroom. Sure. And that could have tipped it. You never know. There were obviously other.
Did the legislators decide, or was it just a bidding? I thought it was just bidding. I don't know how the legislators had impact on whether it occurred.
Right. Was there a causal nexus there? I mean, you never know. I mean, remember, there is, somehow, it's like the Mississippi River was one of the characters in Huckleberry Finn. How do you anthropomorphize the Mississippi River? It was a quasi character. It was it was something that that somehow contributed to what was going on. And you always have to be mindful of the look. I'm just trying to tie in the tampons.
Well, I'm sure it could have had.
Tinfoil tin, not
had
tampon Tim. Let's get that straight right now.
It could have had an effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
right.
it's,
all right. Let's go with it. Let's run with it.
I think if I was applying for a job and I went into the bathroom and there were tampons in the men's room, I would say, I don't think I want to work here.
I might.
Because for the right price.
I like being, first of all, you never know how things are going to change in life. Okay. Yeah. You want to consider all the options, but, I kind of I must like being in enemy territory. I mean, because I've been in so many TV stations. The only place I ever felt at home as far as, broadcasting jobs was at the aforementioned WLS. And they got rid of me. But everywhere else, I mean, Channel 32, I work for Fox locally.
Sure.
All right. And you work for Fox, a conservative station, but that just
no.
They're not monolithic entities. When I worked at Channel 32, it within the company, it was called the gay station because there were a lot of gays who were in positions of authority there. So, you gotta be careful when you paint with a broad brush. So just because there's tampons in a men's room doesn't mean anything. All right, so apparently the latest news is that Trump was going to support Cornyn. I can't believe we're going to get serious about this. Was going to support Cornyn in Texas as opposed to Paxton, who is cloaked in scandal and and other things. And
there really no good choices there, are there?
Well, I like Cornyn. Okay. You don't, but Paxton is probably a loser. Now the Democrat is Tallarico, and he got, excuse me.
Thanks to Colbert. Colbert kind of pushed him.
Are you actually think he tipped it?
Oh, yeah.
He actually tipped it over Crockett.
Yeah, Crockett was way ahead in the polls before that little charade that Colbert pulled off. Yep.
Was that an in-kind contribution to Tallarico? So anyway, Tallarico's been caught.
More or less, but it was on the internet. It just posted it on the internet, so I mean, it wasn't.
Oh yeah. So. Well, I mean, who did not love Jasmine Crockett? I mean, come on, admit it. You laughed when she referred to Governor Greg Abbott as Hot Wheels. Okay, because that's why we don't have jobs in media anymore. Okay. I mean, when the politicians are swearing or are more shock jockish than.
Was it Marjorie Taylor Greene that said maybe you can't see that because one of your false eyelashes is slipping? Was that to her? Was that who that was?
I can't keep track of all of them.
That was also funny.
Tallarico's in trouble right now. Did you see this tweet that they dredged up from 6 years ago? Okay. It was a tweet, and I read it in pertinent part. No, I'll read the whole thing. White skin gives me and every white American immunity from the virus, but we spread it wherever we go through our words, our actions, and our systems. We don't have to be showing symptoms like a white hat, a hood, or a Confederate flag to be contagious. And apparently, everybody's trying to make excuses for it, like it was 6 years ago, a long time ago. Or Tallarico, maybe even himself said, I got caught up in George Floyd even before George Floyd because it happened before. But I kept thinking, if you're a liberal and you're going to vote for Tallarico, what is wrong with this tweet? I mean, that's the essence of liberalism. White guilt. White, by the very nature of your being, you're guilty. It's white privilege. I mean, isn't that what we've learned for the past several generations?
Sure, but
so what was outrageous about it?
That he tipped his hat.
But that's who they are.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to know. They're gonna.
I thought we were supposed to know that. That's why what you're taught about, the 1619 Project. Everybody's made to feel guilty. That's
not in Texas. He's running in Texas, so they're going to try to pitch him as the fun youth pastor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they don't want people
Because
to know.
Texans are stupid, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to, I guess. Okay, now I understand that.
And I think I think the that he's trying to get Cornyn to get on the side of the standing filibuster. I think Trump is going to trade endorsement for his vote for a standing filibuster.
Well,
I think that's
look. I mean, he just couldn't afford. He can't afford it. He doesn't have the leeway there.
what.
As much as Paxton liked Trump and his MAGA. By the way, Trump apparently in an interview with Jonathan Karl, that'll be coming out shortly, I guess, says Tucker's not MAGA. Tucker lost his way a long time ago. This is a quote, and probably Tucker will be at the White House 3 times next week. But that's what Trump said.
That Tucker is not MAGA?
He's not MAGA. He's lost his way. He doesn't understand this war. He doesn't really get it. And I have to give Trump credit because you were talking about old tweets and how inconsistent Trump is. There's a tweet somebody dredged up from 2013 where Trump is saying, what are we thinking about Syria? We should take out Iran right now with their nuclear missiles. That was in 2013. So there's actually a through line there for Trump, is as inconsistent as he's been accused of. So I mean, it is interesting that. All right, when we come back, we've got this show is supposedly about me, and in case you didn't know, Jonah Goldberg and I with a little exchange on Twitter. Oh yeah, Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the weekly wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the weekly wrap, as promised. And Chris asked me in the break, the most exciting thing in your life is getting retweeted by somebody famous. Yeah, I'm a groupie. I mean, the whole idea is and I like all the people that my regulars, whatever. But I'm just like a male Megyn Kelly, and right. Except she's got 178 million views every week.
Less plastic surgery.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So anyway, when Neil Sedaka died last week, and I noticed that he was the same age as the Ayatollah. Okay, 86 years old. It's hard to think of Neil Sedaka and the Ayatollah in the same breath. But in any event, and anyway, and his song "Love Will Keep Us Together," not in the as done by the Captain and Tennille, was kind of the background music for my wife and I the year we got married. I mean,
wow.
So, yeah. I mean, not the you don't really want that to be the song. I mean,
not the Captain and Tennille version.
or had we waited 1 year, and I told my beloved that I wanted to wait. Can we just wait 1 year? I'll hold off, because I think the next year Bohemian Rhapsody came out.
Oh.
Okay. I mean, but anyway, so I mentioned on Twitter that and it wasn't even clever what I said, okay? And I also misspelled Neil and Sedaka. But in any event, I said Neil Sedaka and the Ayatollah were the same age. Insert Sedaka song title here. And Jonah Goldberg responded with "As Long as I Live," which I don't even know what that song. Have you ever heard that song? Do you even know it?
Not a big Sedaka fan.
I thought I knew a lot of them, but okay, but he did that. And
Did you Google it? Did you Google it afterwards?
I didn't even bother Googling
it.
It was Jonah Goldberg. And you know how busy Jonah Goldberg is? He does like 85 podcasts a week. Sure. He writes 14 columns. He's the biggest name, of course, in the horrible thing known as neocon. Among the neocons, I mean, there's a schism among the neocons. You don't even know that. I mean, John Podhoretz and Jonah Goldberg are really good friends, but at the commentary roast in November, Jonah Goldberg took a little fun swipe at the commentary guys as being, pro MAGA. I mean, that's that's the kind of intramural dispute you love. Anyway, for me, a big thrill that it means that Jonah Goldberg is looking at my tweets.
Sure.
Because extrapolate from that, and he's probably seen at least 5 tweets that I don't know about in the last year. So 5 of my tweets.
It could be that somebody he knows actually posted on your tweet. So it could have been like
No. Jonah Goldberg doesn't delegate his tweeting to John Barron or somebody like, well, actually John Barron is Trump. Okay. But you know what I mean. He doesn't delegate his tweeting.
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying it's somebody else that commented on your little. It was kind of like a little puzzle, right? It's like a little fun game. It's trying to think of a Neil Sedaka song.
No, I get what the game is, and I get that it wasn't even a clever thing.
My favorite was breaking up is hard to do.
I thought
my
of
favorite
that.
answer. Yeah,
I actually thought of using that too because you think of him, but I thought it was like it doesn't matter. You know what the whole point was. Anyway, I wanted to get Chris. You mind this? Because if there's one thing that I kind of enjoy more than even the self adoration that I project on this podcast, it's getting Chris's goat. Chris, Jason Benetti, former White Sox announcer. There we go. Okay, I got the reaction already.
I've already
commented. You should remember, Tim. Jason Benetti was the White Sox announcer. They got rid of him.
Yeah,
Chris couldn't stand him. A lot of people liked him. NBC.
They felt sorry for him. They didn't like him.
NBC has hired Jason Benetti. They're bringing back the Game of the Week on Sunday nights.
Wow.
He's the guy. I mean, he's going to be the guy. And the Detroit Tigers love him so much that they're going to allow him to do this and still be the Tigers announcer. And Chris hates Jason Benetti. Are you finally converted to the other side right now?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I am kidding you, but I just wanted to ask you.
I have comment when this news broke. I rarely comment on social media, but I broke my
sure,
and actually said I can't believe anyone likes this guy. Goes on too long. The dated references, the unfunny jokes.
Yeah. It sounds like you're describing me, but that's okay.
Yeah. Could be talking about this show.
Or me and Jason Benetti not only does all that I do, he's got like the junior voice of God. I don't know if you ever watched NFL films.
Oh my God.
With John Facenda rising out of the frozen tundra of Curly Lambeau Field. Jason Benetti has that voice if he's like 20 years younger, but it's just a beautiful voice, funny guy.
Beautiful
I can't stand
voice.
it. I'm sorry.
Is it a fake
but
voice?
But Chris doesn't like him. And you know what? I love that Chris doesn't like him because then maybe Chris is onto something and maybe there's some, because, I hate other people being successful. So I'm kind of latching on to Chris, even though intellectually I don't understand it. Maybe Chris in his heart is right about this. Please enumerate the reasons that Jason Benetti sucks. I want to hear that again. You just said it before, but it bears repeating.
Well, it's a simple list. The jokes aren't funny. He doesn't let a game breathe because he fills up every piece of dead air with bad references from the 1950s and 60s. He's like 38 years old, but but you're 70. He's 38.
Oh, so it's okay if an old guy does that.
Well, they're for your time period. What is this guy? Because he was sitting in his room watching a black and white TV.
No question. You know what I think of him? I think I'd mentioned this before. This guy, I think he has cerebral palsy. So, I mean, this is on top of this, Chris is piling onto a guy who has cerebral palsy.
So you don't use that. Don't use that. He's probably a DEI hire.
He's probably a what?
A DEI hire. They filled it out.
So anyway, but
I
imagine him.
He is okay at football because there's so much action.
Hey, Chris, whose show is this? Hey, Chris, whose show is this? Okay. Tim would like to speak about.
Well, you asked my opinion. You fired me up.
Well, I was going to speak about DEI hires because.
All right. Can we get to that in 1 second? Because we're running out of time. Okay. I just wanted to mention that Jason Benetti, I imagined, and Chris is right about this, He's sitting at his TV when he's a little kid in Homewood Flossmoor, and he's sitting there and he's watching all these old shows, like black and white shows that maybe you and I almost saw first run, like or close to first run, like I Love Lucy, Phil Silvers, and this guy, he's making references, and I'm going to myself, how does he know these references? He's 12 years old, and I'm thinking he was probably sitting there, in part maybe because of his handicap. I don't know, but he was kind absorbing all this stuff, and he converted it to gold. And now he's also
gold.
A geek. I'm sorry,
gold.
Fool's gold. Okay, whatever. Yeah, it's
alone in his room, no friends.
But he's funny.
He's not.
He's
funny.
good. And look, and I hate to admit it because he's got the dream job that I wanted when I was growing up, and I never got it.
Got it for 1 inning.
I'm sorry. Except for yeah, all right. Thanks, Chris. But you bastard. Okay. All right, what do we have to talk about?
I heard Tim's DEI.
Oh yeah, go DEI on us.
We just finished season 4 of Bridgerton.
Oh, you know what? We passed it up. I saw it on Netflix. I said, we're not going back to that. And you think Bridgerton is DEI? What? Because what?
No. Well, yeah, it's first of all, it's Hamilton casting. The Queen of England is black. All the couples are interracial. It's completely
yeah. Sure.
But it actually went a step further.
Yeah.
Is they've got one woman with a stump.
Oh my goodness, who's attractive?
She's kind of cute, but she's got a stump.
Yeah. So you guys are just asses. I'm finished with this. You just go do your heating and vacuuming podcast. God bless you. Godspeed. And hey, maybe we'll see you all next week when we take over WLS in the mornings, little Timmy. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap.
And that's the Weekly Wrap on radio and television. Follow Bruce at Bruce Wolf Shy on Twitter and Tim at timslagle.com. The Weekly Wrap with Bruce Wolf, a CP Pods production.